1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, the chat is not showing up. Why is that? Chat box. That's weird. Hey, CPU, how are you doing? The chat is here. Yeah, no, I should have the chat in just under my where my face is. And I think it's because I'm going through StreamYard and I shouldn't be doing that. I'm not technically live with, yeah, that's what it is. Hey, Delusional, how are you doing? It's good to see you here, dude. I'm just doing some testing here, trying to find a setup for my stream. We might do some soldering afterwards. I do have some MSX cards bits to solder, and it looks like this webcam is not working. Let me see what's going on. It's going to be tedious for a minute because I don't know what I'm doing. So if I do this, and back here, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I have these guys to solder. These are mapper cards for the MSX. And I have cards that I make normally, which are these guys that take standard EEPROMs, but they're not great. You just switch from StreamYard to Eevee. God, actually, that screen is so tricky to read. Let me just. Oh, yeah, there you go. Eevee Mux. I'm not familiar with it. I'll have to have a look. I have an account with StreamYard, so it's handy. I have an account in case we want to. Oh, there's the chat. It just showed up. I think it just needs to be more persistent. So let me just change that. So I'm essentially using Streamlabs and converting my entire Streamlabs as a webcam and as a virtual webcam, and then pushing that onto StreamYard. And the reason I do that is StreamYard allows me to invite people over very easily. Chat delay, always show messages. There you go. Now, if I do send price plus 10, oh, interesting. Test, now that should stay up. Unless, yeah, there you go. Okay, there's a good bit of delay though. So that's working. Cool. EV Mux, let me just check that out. Now I have a streaming station normally, like this is my entire like music setup and all that. So I have 3 screens over there, and I have a pretty cool setup for streaming normally, like whether it's games on the PS5 or doing music. But I wanted something here. This is sort of my lab fixing corner where I solder stuff. So yeah, and I also have this guy at some point that I want to do live, at least the tedious stuff, like all the SMD stuff. And I have a TF MSX3 Pro as well that I want to solder from scratch that Terrible Fire gave me. So I have quite a bit of cool stuff to put together on this. Best way to stream and record, stunning. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm assuming they have a free kind of trial version like StreamYard. Anyway, I think that's set up. The only thing I don't have is something for that bottom corner where uh, where the main screen is. I'll have to find something to fill that space. But I might as well get started. The other thing actually is I'm not happy with this mic. This is one of those Jabra um, work headsets, and it's okay, but it's not great. And see, all the mics I have are, that might work. AT podcasting mic. I've a ton of mics, but usually there's a free trial as well. That's cool to hear. That's cool to hear. Okay, I'll try that. Hey, Vampire, how you doing? Man Insure is now on YouTube. Yes, uh, that's never getting old, is it? I'm going to solder a TF, a mapper card. Vampire, that's right up your alley. Terrible Fire has done these cards. They're Konami mapper cards up to 512 Ks, so you can play stuff like Vampire Killer, Ushas, and all those games. Doesn't have a CC, but he's working on a solution for that on the TF MSX. But you can also just tap a CC from another card, as you would anyway. So, and all it is, it's an EEPROM and a little FPGA to do all the mapping. That I did try to make my own using. Do I still have samples of that? No, I think I threw everything purely out of rage because I couldn't get them to work. No, I did try to make my own using standard TTL stuff, and for the life of me, I couldn't get it to work. So Terrible Fire was like, well, sure, I can do that in FPGA in 1 hour, and annoyingly, that's what he did. So he did that, and I have a few now. They do require a few parts, a few extra parts, but I want to put them on my Etsy shop at some point for people to have. Can I pass this through this thing? No. Bear with me. Great, John Zini. How are you doing? How are you doing? This is a stream to set up future streams. I've decided I'm going to do some of the tedious soldering on this channel, some of it anyway. And I have a streaming setup already behind me for my main channel and for Twitch. Whenever I play a game, whenever that happens, that's not very often. But I wanted a streaming setup here on this side of the room. So I have a small laptop, and I'm trying to set up now a proper mic because the sound from this isn't great, is it? So could I do this that way? Although I'm gonna have to up the levels. So just bear with me. The healthy pile of USB cables is always handy. Terrible Fire surely knows what he's doing. Yes, he very much does. He very much does. I was at his place in Scotland last weekend. He set up a small party for the Scottish Amiga user groups, and I was invited to it, even though I'm not from Scotland or Scottish. But that was cool, and I actually worked on a tracker module while I was at it, so that was cool. Now the question is I don't think Streamlabs is going to pick it up live. I might need to reboot Streamlabs, but StreamYard is still running, so the stream might still go on. Let me just check. Because the sound from this isn't great, is it? Sorry, I had that. The sound from this isn't great, is it? It's just. No. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to cut StreamYard. So Streamlabs. StreamYard is still running, so we can still chat in the text, but it'll be 2 seconds. Now, can you hear me? How's this? Let me do some tests first. This might be a bit low. Is this better? There's a bit of delay between chat and stream. Oh, bollocks. On mobile. Yeah, there's delay anyway, and the reason is because I'm going. I'm recording essentially with Streamlabs and sending that to StreamYard. So there's a delay. Uh, there is a delay between the chat that you see in the window, in the main window. Although I suppose we don't need that chat. It's not Twitch, and it's very unlikely you'll have this full screen anyway. I have a microscope on order, and it's arriving next week. So I'll also have under where my face is. I'll also have a camera that I can switch between, well, this guy here and the microscope. So this should be I should be able to offer like just have a wide sort of a angle of what's going on and the microscope camera as well. And mobile has a bunch of seconds. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, CPU says no delay. Addy, how are you doing? No delay for you either. That's awesome. Cool. You know, I might just fire this soldering station. So I think what I'll do once I have the microscope is I can have those two. I have my laptop camera film on my head, maybe a wide angle shot. So I either use this guy or use the GoPro to have a much wider angle of the station here, and then the microscope footage. Um, so what we have here is, as I said, this guy. By Terry Belfire, there's not a lot of components, but there's a few, and all of them are SMD. As you can see, they're quite small. So we have, let me just get my drink out of the way. I'm technically on the weekend. This is why I have a drink with me. I'm off tomorrow, and I'm off Fridays now for the rest of the year because I had 12 days holidays to take, and we couldn't think of a way to take them with Fiona because Fiona has taken all her holidays. So I just took Fridays off now for the rest of the year. So that's all right. Beep73, how are you doing? Enjoy watching the video. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's really funny the way this channel has evolved. It's really like this was a mixed bag of all the stuff I couldn't put on my main channel before I started it. And then now there's people on this channel that don't know about the Banjo Gayali stuff. So all of these little components need to be obviously put in place. This is inverted in my camera, so it's really awkward. So it's mostly resistors, a few, couple of caps. There's a little LED, where is it? Right here. that's not technically needed, so we won't here. Don't think we'll put that in because I don't think I have any. And the resistor that goes with it. There's a 5 volt to 3.3 converter and the FPGA here. So it's going to be awkward to show everything properly on this camera because that's just a standard Logitech webcam, but we'll do our best. And once I have my microscope, it's due to arrive on the 3rd, and I can't wait for it to arrive. First, because my eyes are getting worse and worse by the week, and I need those to read. And I also, thank God, I have this magnifier glass as well. That should also provide a good bit of light. Is the sound okay? I'm afraid it looks like it's super low and might need a boost. Let me see if I can boost the add a set max here. But yeah, is the sound better? Does it actually sound like a proper microphone and not? Anyway, somebody let me know. Like, yeah. So this mic needs a boost. Let me just set a filter with a bit of gain. 4 or 5 dBs should do the trick. And then a compressor. Um, you hit the big 50 and like the eyesight just went to crap, and it happens fast. And I'm not 50 yet, and I'll be 49 next year in July. So, but yeah, it's coming fast. and yeah, the I have glasses now since last year, and it was one evening I was reading in bed, and or was it the year before? But anyway, I was reading in bed, and I was like, "Geez, I'm really tired. Like it's really it's getting having a hard time just reading." And Fiona, hey Fiona, talking about you, and doing me our glasses, and I was like, ah, this is what it is. So I got to the point, and then yeah, my eyesight has gone to shit. So not to shit, but it's deteriorating as you'd expect. So yeah, I have glasses. Yeah, can you let me know about the sound? I'm just trying to find. Oops, I'm just trying to find the right setting for the sound. I've put a compressor on it and a gain boost, and I might put a limiter. I think it needs a bit more gain. So 10 dB. How's that? 14. I think it's sound is okay. See, all I have is the return. I just listen from the stream there, and it's actually picking up. It's not picking up this mic. It's picking up this guy. And I'm just going to put a limiter in case I start screaming. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Okay, I think we should be much better. You might want to lower your volume a little bit. Nothing now. Only headphone mic is working. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I think I'm hearing crap, but that's because those headphones aren't great. Let me try something else. This wasn't meant to be a productive stream, really. I'm just setting things up, but hopefully we'll get something done. It's not so much for you, it's more for me, this one. Only the headphone mic is working. Still? And that would be because I was looking at the monitor in Streamlabs, and the audio should be coming from Streamlabs. Camera. One, two, 1, 2. Audio is back. So that's working here. Now I'm not getting any returns. Okay, you know what? I'm going to give up on getting returns here, and I'm going to do this without audio. Let me just check something. Oh, I know. Audio is good. Fair enough. Hey, Eugene, how are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, this is a bit of a shit fest of a stream, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I promise. Let me just. I'm trying desperately to get a return on my audio through here. Because it'll make things much easier if I need to show something on one of my screens as well, if there's audio. And for some reason, this guy doesn't want to start. That's really weird. Okay, that's working. Bit less gain now that I can hear stuff. Okay, so let's get started. I do have, because I don't know it by heart, the build of material here. Watching in background, she's still working. Real leaded solder, whatever I'm using. I think it is leaded. Never really checked, to be honest. I think it was. I think I specifically ordered some. Does it say on there? I think so. I think so. I had unleaded before, and I switched to this one that was recommended by somebody. Contains lead. Yeah, definitely. Definitely leaded. Okay, so let me just get my stuff. So there's a wee flux here. I'm not going to use this guy because this is way too precious for passives like that. I'm going to use that on the CPLD, but I have a simple flux pen which is more than adequate for passives, and I have a ton of these anyway. Or do I? Yeah, this is the one was dry. And so I'm just going to use that on the passives here. This is out of focus now. Figure video. All right. Camera controlled focus. Now I hate that for some reason I can't save the focus setting when I restart Streamlabs. I get too confused. I got given so much shit when I was in my old videos because I was using unleaded solder, and people are really vocal and insistent about it. I haven't had any issues from the ADHD camera. I can't focus. I haven't had any issues with unleaded solder, but yeah, people got really upset with me for using unleaded solder. Fair enough. I didn't know better, and I now have the good stuff. But from what I hear, where do you even get leaded solder? Oh, eBay. It was eBay. I pretty much get everything there. Either eBay or like Farnell, which is a sort of the local mouser here. And yeah, that's pretty much where I get stuff. Mouser if I can't find it on Farnell, and otherwise eBay. Leaded solder is for radio work. Okay.
like ham radio, you mean? These guys usually know a good bit about electronics. My dad is a amateur, well, yeah, ham radio, whatever the terminology is, but he's got his license for a long time, and he used to make his own radios as well. So he knows a fair. He was a technician, engineer for Philips. So like he knows far more than I do about electronics. All right, so we need 1 microfarad. Three of them at C2. Now this is where I will need my glasses, even though I have this magnifying glass. I don't have a fan. I used to, and my fan is dead now. So just a couple of days ago, essentially. So we'll need to make a new one this weekend. But I mean, yeah, we'll be okay for a short session like that. This thing here is also protecting me from most of the fumes directly coming into contact with my nose, so we'll be fine for one session. But yeah, yeah, not ideal. To be honest, I use a fan if I do a long session, which is so we're looking for 1 microfarad form, 1 microfarad. So this is actually this 5/1 is a 1206 pitch, and the other ones should be 0603, but I think I have 0805, and this is regulator. Oh, these are the sockets. I have 2 CPLDs here. We'll try to do a couple of these. What have we here? 10K resistor, 1 microfarad of 603. Oh, it's 0603, yeah. Okay. Don't have a ton of these though. You're joking me. Oh, Farnell, did you miss my 10K resistor, 0.1 microfarad? That's, I definitely did not order 0.1 microfarad, and that's what it sent me instead. 1206. No, that's not it. No, yeah, there's one of them, 100 nanofarad. It's fine. Oh, there it is. No, these are. Regulator. 10K. All right. So, bad news is we've only got 3 of these guys, 1 microfarad. Or is it this guy? 20. Because I think Farnell messed up my order and sent me the well, we got some 10, we got sockets, we got 1 1206. I think this might be just a batch of 1206 pitch, but not the 0603. That's unfortunate. I'll get on to them anyway. So like I said, I'm not going to use, so let me see, the point one should be in C2, which is this guy. So that's needed. I mean, we can omit one. It's not going to be the end of the word. C16, which, where's C16? Sorry, actually the C16 is here. Where is it? C13. Yeah, C2 is here. C5 is here. C4, C2, C4, C5, and C16. C2, C4, C5, and I think C16 is here. And that's probably, yeah, that's just in between 5 and ground. Mind you, they all are, but I don't think it will matter so much as these, especially these two guys. So we'll take a chance. Microfarad. I wonder why people talked about mini bicycles when it comes to farad. Farad sounds exactly the same as farad. Does that mean bicycle in Dutch? C2, C4, and C5. So just apply it. There you go. That should do for the rest of the session. Bicycle in German. I'm afraid I'm not. I think I did 2 years of German in school, and I'm still none the wiser. '0603 is really my utter limit when it comes to these guys. These are true bird seeds. It's so hard to see anything with it. Now, the good thing about SMD is, that's about the only good thing about it, is you don't use nearly as much solder as knew that was going to happen. Or solder as a true hole stuff. C4, C5, C2. God, this is really small. I've had so many of those, especially at the beginning when I started making the Amiga 1200. I had so many of those when I was trying to just move them or just grab them with the tweezers, just fly across the room and never to be found again. Well, they were found by the Hoover, I suppose, but we could use hot hair as well, I suppose. I just don't quite trust myself with hot hair yet. And C5 is over there. Yeah, you really can't see much, can you, on the on this camera? More flux later on, and I'll just go over these. I just want them in place for now. C13 is 1 microfarad. What's this? Might as well use I have a lot of these nanofarads. We'll do C1 then. Where's C1? And get the 1 microfarad out of the way. C1 is. See, I'm having a hard time reading what this is here. I'm assuming that's C5, that's C6, C3, C1 is right here. Oh yeah, that's the guys for the regulator, and we've C13 as well for the regulator as well, which is 1 microfarad, so 100 nanofarad here. And in fact, we can put those with this as well afterwards. This is a much bigger pitch, 1206, which is my favorite SMD. This is big. Hey, Robbie, how are you doing? How you doing, dude? We're doing Kent's favorite type of soldering, SMD stuff, surface mounted, and we're building a mapper cart for the MSX, and this is also I'm testing this stream whether it's viable and enjoyable for people, or and testing this new setup. Like I was saying, I have a proper setup for streaming behind me, but this is here just in my lap. So I'm using a laptop and leftover mics and stuff that I have lying. I had this mic which was given to me. It's a podcasting mic type of stuff. It's one of those kind of, it picks up everything, probably including my dog playing with her toy in the room. So this is C1. Yes, let's focus for a second. So I'm testing whether that works, and my goal is to actually maybe do some of this tedious stuff live on the stream, because it's like when I edit MIDI, or when I convert an existing piece of audio to MIDI, it's tedious, and it's much easier or much nicer to do with people around you can talk to. Eugene, how did you feel last soldering session with Chucky? Help mastering the soldering seeds? Yeah. Well, he got me to buy a microscope. I was saying earlier on, I have the microscope ordered, and it should be here on the 3rd of November, so I can't wait. And that's the whole point of streaming this. So what I'll do is I include the camera of the microscope. So where the chat is under my head here, you'll have the microscope. We just have to find a new space for the chat, or we might not need the chat at all because it's already here. I just wanted to fill this space for now, but yeah, we'll have the microscope footage down the line. C13, we need. God, this is going to be tedious if I need to make those for people for the shop. But yeah, how are you, Robbie? It's cool to see you in Sonic State podcast more often. You've made a few appearances there in the past, but it's are you there more regularly? It's always cool to get an extra voice in there. Especially an FM voice, a Yamaha voice. By the way, because this is on StreamYard, somebody let me throw the StreamYard link, because technically anybody can join, and I want to test the layout. This is a test stream, by the way. I want to test the layout. So let me just, where is the invite link? There. Copy, and I should be able to paste. Okay, and make this. No, not that. Make this pin. No. Put user in timeout. No, that's me. And I don't want to put myself in timeout. I think it's done on pin message. So now it should be at the top. And if anybody wants to try and join, there it is.
How you doing?
There we have. No, let me try this again. I just wanted to test. Because essentially the main screen has to run. Because I'm doing stuff I still want people to be able to see it. I think that's the best layout.
So how are you doing your messages?
So I'm using Streamlabs, OBS Streamlabs,
Okay, yeah.
and in there you can set it as a virtual webcam. So it's usually the way I join. Oh yes, usually the way I stream that, and then you feed that into as a webcam into a StreamYard.
Yeah.
But it makes so I can have control over my window and exactly what is displayed and have it arranged however I want.
Cool.
But then the added benefit of StreamYard is I can invite people like that.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
Happy to prove your point and to test it for you.
Well, you're welcome to stay if you want. Just one person.
I'm just prepping the show for tomorrow because I'm not on because I'm in London.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So I'm just getting it ready, just trying to make it as simple for them as possible. So yeah, it's been a busy day today, but yeah, off to London early tomorrow morning, so that'll be fun.
So for people on this channel who don't know Rob, Rob runs the YouTube channel ProSynth Network, among other things. Oh. But you have a weekly podcast about audio synthesizers, mostly news and that kind of stuff, which I usually log on to. It's very interesting, and that and Sonic State, and I learned so much over the past couple of years. Synthesizers and yeah, what's what. It's been very interesting to follow.
Yeah. Now, I as I said in the comments, I seem to be sort of flavor du jour over at Sonic State. I think, I mean, obviously I've known Nick for years and I've been on the show. I think my first appearance was, probably over a decade or so ago.
They've been doing that for years.
Yeah. And a lot of the time I can't join because I work from home, and it's on in the middle of the afternoon, and because I work for an American company. Because I work for an American company, they all wake up around 4 o'clock my time, which is when we go live. So luckily, they don't really know much about what I get up to outside of the day job. Or they do now. I think I've told everyone. So, but then I thought, do you know what? It's fine. They don't mind. They know it's fine. So I just I think it was a few months ago, Nick started the show and he said, I don't think we've only got like one guest. And I said, mate, I'm always here. Just let me know. And I think the next week he said he added me to the elite group of guests that basically he sends a mail out to everyone that is on his list, and then the first 3 basically get on. So
gotcha.
Yeah, but no, it's always good fun to be on there. And
you must have a huge list now. I suppose the very nature of the list that he has as well of guests, they're usually very, very busy.
Yeah,
like very knowledgeable and experienced people, but they're also very busy.
Yeah, because people are out on the road, like Rich Hilton. He's out on the road, and
Ty,
Chicky Reeves, and Ty. Yeah, Ty can be snowed under, and so but no, it's good fun, and if it gets a few more people to come over to PSN.
How many subscribers have you now? Like the channel has grown quite a bit last year.
Yeah, I mean, when we had Anthony Marinelli on the show.
Of course.
A few weeks ago. It just went mental. I mean, we just got so many more subscribers. And then when we had Brad Holland on, the guy from Isla Instruments, who most people outside of our little clique of synth nerds probably don't know who the hell Brad Holland is. But because he made that S2400, I would say it's not a replica, it's an homage to the EMU SP1200.
Yeah.
He's massive in the hip-hop community, because the hip-hop community just loved that instrument. So he must have put the word out on his socials, and our viewing figures like doubled or trebled that just for that one show. And it was all these guys whose names in YouTube were like DJ this and MC this. And I don't, I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but there was a lot of that. But then we've got a guy that watches
BJ Ollie.
Yeah, BJ Ollie. Yeah. There's a guy called Carl Bedford whose name you might have seen knocking around, and Carl is a massive DJ out in Europe, and really big name if you're in that world. And even he was going, "Oh my god, I can't believe so and so watching ProSynth Network," and I'm like, I don't even know who they are. But it got us a load of subs, and that was quite cool. So we're up to nearly 3,400, which it's peanuts for.
Yeah, but I remember you'd barely reached 1,000. Like
it took us ages to get to 1,000.
Yeah, it took you ages, and then now you have over 3,000, which is like after a year or something.
It goes up about if we apart from that like the odd show that gets us the boost, we probably get about 70 or 80 a week or a month. No, 70 or 80 a month, I think. But I used to be really hung up on the numbers, and now I just
don't.
Because I don't understand how it works.
Okay, I'll give you a confidence boost. The Banjo Guy Ollie channel, which has almost 70,000 subscribers. The growth rate at the moment is about 30 subscribers a month.
Right.
It's just plateaued, and
yeah.
So I'm watching paint dry. If I'm not watching the numbers, but if I was hung up on the numbers, like I'd be watching paint dry. It's stagnating. This channel here is actually growing faster than my actual.
I don't understand, and I don't think I even ever want to understand how YouTube works. From the, because we did that seminar. Manny and I did that seminar on 40 years of the DX7, and they filmed it and they threw it up on YouTube last Tuesday, and it's had nearly 25,000 views in a week, which for a video that I'm in is just staggering, because why I have no idea. But today, I'm not saying I check the numbers daily, but every day I'm checking the numbers.
Yeah.
And today, all of a sudden, like it's been going up by at least 1,000 to 2,000 views a day. Because if you do the maths, that kind of works out about right. But today, it just almost stopped dead.
Flattens, yeah. So what happens is it gets into the recommended section of YouTube. And that usually gets a lot of traction. So that happens to a lot of videos, and I've seen that in my videos. So you release them, there's a peak, obviously, from subscribers and people wanting to watch that. Then it sort of levels off, and then sometimes, for no explanation whatsoever, you see that kind of shoop.
Yeah.
So it that spike, and what it is, it actually gets into the recommended videos on YouTube. So if you look in detail at the analytics. I always say I don't, but I do.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's you see that's where it gets into recommended videos, and what happens is it just snowballs. Then because more people watch it, it gets them recommended more. But after a while, YouTube decides that that's it. I mean, they can only recommend it for so long and to only so many people for a channel of a certain size. So they stop recommending it because there's other videos that have come out since, or So it's, I mean, trying to understand how it works is really hard. It's a combination of people. YouTube is a combination of people and YouTube's attempt to derive algorithms from people's behaviors, which is impossible.
Yeah.
So it changes all the time. Even YouTube. I remember my early days on YouTube. I remember watching videos of YouTube in Dublin who had done a big YouTube conference. I didn't go because every vlogger and their mother was there, and it's massive pain in the ass to listen to these people. But I watched a conference with a guy called Jacksepticeye, who's a gamer. He was big at the time when PewDiePie was everywhere. And anyway, they invited him, and they actually said, as an introduction to him talking about YouTube and how to make it on YouTube, they said, "We don't know how it works. This guy has figured it out what we can't figure out. So let him, essentially that was the synopsis.
Yeah.
Like, let him explain what he did and how he did it." And then he started talking. And he said, "I have no idea how I did it. It just happened." It's people. People habits, and so that's why they say you want your title and thumbnail to be catchy and all that kind of stuff. You just want to get that initial click to essentially trick YouTube into thinking that it's an important video.
Yeah.
If you want to play that game, you're going to lose it at the end eventually.
Yeah. It's a mug's game, because it's you're playing the house rules, and the house is YouTube, and the house never loses. So, and this is what gets me when I see people who have committed their livelihoods to being a successful YouTuber. Basically, they've put everything on black and said, "I'm going to go with YouTube. That's going to pay my bills. That's going to put food on the table." And then, however much longer after that is, it might be 6 months, it might be a year, it might be 2 years. Oh my God, YouTube have changed the rules, and now I'm not making as much money. I need your help. Did you not think you're basing your business model on somebody else's rules?
Yeah, just on YouTube is a bad idea.
Yeah, of which you have no control. So yeah, I mean, people you see people that will supplement their income through other means. Yeah, they use Patreon, and maybe they have a website, or they do TikTok as well, or something. I mean, TikTok is something I've never even looked at. So
no interest.
It's an odd thing, and I'm kind of the mind now. Maybe it's because I'm old, and I just don't get these damn crazy kids. But I really don't care. We don't do ProSynth Network as a business. We started going in March 2020 as a bunch of guys that were a bit bored, and it was the pandemic, and everyone was at home.
Yeah.
And every time we asked a famous person to come on the show, they said yes, and we're like, "Oh my God!" They said yes. We didn't think for a moment. Hang on a minute, they're all stuck at home too, and they need to promote shit, of course. And of course, once the pandemic ended, we started to see people saying, "I'd love to do the show, but I'm busy. I'm out touring, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that." So that's why and I think we also took a conscious decision just to kind of dial that back as well, because I think it was stressing me out trying to get somebody on every week. And for a year or so we were doing it.
I think, having guests is cool, but I think after a while, especially I watched on a few other podcasts. After a while, especially if you're a returning viewer, what's enjoyable is the dynamics between the regular people as well.
Yeah.
And there's an element of familiarity to that I think people enjoy thoroughly. I certainly do. I watch RMC's podcast called This Week in Retro, and sometimes they have a guest. Very rarely, more often than not, they talk about these topics among themselves. It's kind of fun to see their banter and their relationship with each other.
It's like any piece of entertainment where there's a regular crew that you clearly have an affinity with, whether it's subject matter or just personality, or they make you laugh or they make you angry or whatever, but you'll want to go back because of them rather than who
exactly
on. And I think we just probably needed somebody to tell us that. Somebody did tell us that in a sort of roundabout way, because you remember it was myself, Ben, and Chris for the first couple of years.
Now, I didn't. When I started watching, I think Kent was already
Oh, okay.
there.
So so Chris decided that he didn't want to do it anymore, and that's absolutely fine. And he never told me why. He told Ben. He spoke to Ben for like 2 hours on the phone, and he couldn't really explain why. But he said he was going to quit. And one of the things that he brought up was, he said, "Oh yeah, we seem to focus far too much on guests." And Ben told me this, and I said, "Do we? Yeah, I suppose we do, in a way." And it rankled with me because I'm thinking, yeah, maybe he's right. And then the part of me that was pissed off with him for leaving kind of was like, no, he can't. He's not right. But actually, he kind of was. He kind of was.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what it was that myself particularly, I don't want to speak for Ben, but myself particularly felt that guests, we needed them. Otherwise, why would people watch us if we didn't have guests? We didn't have,
especially when when you're starting, you want to get some legitimacy under your wings, so to speak. Yeah.
And I'm very lucky because I work in the business where I have access to all of these people a lot of the time. In fact, I got an email today from the Bob Moog of digital synthesis, Dr. John Channing. I'm now in conversation with Dr. John Channing, which for many people is like, who? but for an FM nerd like me, yeah, you know. But that's like, that's like having, an email conversation with Bob Moog, or if you're into motor cars, you're talking to Enzo Ferrari. It's that level. And I remember getting very excited when I first met Peter Vogel, the Fairlight, or one half of the Fairlight inventing partnership. It was just, oh my God. And I can't say why we're talking at the moment, but it's very, very positive. But I get access to these people, and I make use of it. And I think what happened was we got into this place where we thought, the only reason people watch us is because we have, guests, and they're famous guests, whether it's Steve Baccara or Mick McNeil or
yes and no. I would, yeah.
But we didn't have the confidence in the fact that maybe people watched us because they liked us. And there's obviously people that do, but I don't want, I'm not sort of blowing my own trumpet, but there's obviously people that do like.
No, very much so.
So.
Yeah.
Can't deny that. So
I mean, I haven't checked your exact figures on shows where you have, I was going to say random guest or, but like somebody who's not, Marinelli or and figures when you have just the three of you. But I would say they're pretty similar, or not entirely. Yeah,
and yet sometimes, like David Gamson, who we had on last week, who for me and many people my age, he is a legend. The man responsible for at least 2.5 Scritti Politti albums musically, and yet the number of people we had watching the show before and since is a little disappointing. Or for me, it's disappointing. Anyway,
sure,
but
these things, it's like when you make a review videos. These things are so hard to predict what's going to please people, and you never know. He might do something later on in a year or two that actually might,
and then people pick it up.
Yeah. I've had that, on the repair stuff, and nobody was interested in it at the time, and then suddenly, something comes out, and everybody's looking for that item, and I see it peak in my video. I just want to reply to Christian Fugel. He loved the ads in the video. What made me get into ventriloquism? It's not that. It's I edit the videos afterwards. So essentially, when I have the puppet with me, it's just silent. I have scripted it.
Oh, don't stop! You shattered the illusion.
and it's done afterwards.
Simon the same way again.
It's done afterwards. And you didn't realize I was BG Ollie as well. And you're subscribed to both channels. It's the same ads. I have the same ads. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I'm obviously cheating. But what made me buy a puppet was alcohol mostly. Um, so I have this guy to solder here. It's a 5 volt to 3.3 converter. There you go.
Painful.
But it should be much faster. Normally, what I do is I do 5 of them in a row, and I'd put like the caps of a certain value on each board, and then etc. etc. But doing it on stream is not productive at all.
Well, yeah, I'm certainly not helping. So.
And but it's cool. No, this is why you stream. It's to make it more interesting. Terrible Fire is here. This is the man who made this little board, and keeps reminding me that he was able to make it when I failed miserably at my attempt to make one.
Is this the same as the ones that you sent to me?
No,
similar?
No. Yeah, it's for the MSX. So these guys are the ones I you. And these guys support a standard EEPROM up to 64 kilobytes, 64K, sorry. And these guys support up to 512, and they're for MSX2 games.
Oh, okay.
Or MSX game. It's a Konami mapper, so MSX games that also do that SCC chip. So this doesn't have SCC chip support, but if you have a second card that has SCC, you can tap stuff off that. The reason is Terrible Fire made this machine here, which is a repro. Does my camera reach all the way without this here? So I made a case for it, but this is essentially an MSX repro machine. This guy, which so this guy here. Let me put the camera back in. Yeah, which is pretty much a brand new MSX, because MSX is an open standard.
Yeah.
So it's got exactly the same features. It's got a Z80. It's got a Z80 here. YM38910. This is the Yamaha clone of it. A VDP, video display processor, 2 card ports, and all the addressing logic, all the glue logic is done by just the CPLD. So it's running the original stuff. It's just original stuff to original specs. But the addressing, and every MSX is different in that way, is sort of done to an extent. It's sort of done with CPLD. He says it's not an MSX. There's no tape support, which I think is in the specs. But nobody uses tape anymore. And if you do, you probably want to use a real MSX. Anyway.
Yeah, mine's all boxed up in the garage still since I moved. So.
I mean, I have mine here. It's sort of a display item, but will I ever use it to actually make productive music?
Yeah. No, I fired it up a few years ago and connected it up to the DX7 and just dicked around with a few things. And I just like, yeah, this is all very nostalgic, but I'm not actually doing anything here with this. And I'm if I wanted to make some music, I'll just plug the DX7 into this, or whatever,
or DX21, and then
or the DX20, or the DX1.
Get that sound in a much more convenient way. Yeah.
Well, quite. So yeah, it got boxed up when I moved house, and it's just sat there. But I'm hoping. I went to see a property that I might be renting to actually set a studio up in. So all of this will go to this place, and it's remote, secure, very affordable, and the hope
like an actual recording studio.
Well, kind of, yeah. It's in a little complex of a small office complex, but it's in an old farm stables, so big solid walls, and it's very secluded. So the hope is that the writing work will more than cover the rent, and then by having all of the equipment in there, I can then say to individuals or organizations, if you want to hire the equipment, you can come down and hire it for X amount or whatever.
Because for people here who don't know, Robbie, you have quite a healthy collection of Yamaha and other synthesizers,
but mostly Yamaha.
Yeah. Behind you, right on your right hand side, there behind you is.
That's the one. Literally the one, the DX1.
DX1.
Only 140 ever made. I don't know how many survived, but
is it plugged in?
It is. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
I have to do this special boot process on it. It doesn't do it first time. Well, not normally anyway. It might surprise me.
No. Now, did Kent service that? Or
yes and no. She's not playing ball today. Just double check. Okay, I'll just leave it for a few minutes. So when I got it, it had this issue. When you turned it on, it made a horrible noise. Now, some people would say, "Oh, well, it's an FM synthesizer," but no, it was just basically going. So, luckily, I mean, this is Kent all over. They only made 140 of these in the world, and Kent had about half of them through his doors.
Of course.
And at the time, he got, I think, at least 2 more in his workshop. One of them was actually being worked on at the time. So we took all the cards out of it, and I went down to Kent's, and we tried all the cards in the new machine, or the other machine, and they all worked. And then we took all the cards back out, put the original cards back into Kent's machine, and that started having the same problem as I was having. So it seemed like it had transported the problem. But what it did do is it enabled us to actually figure out where the problem was, and the problem was on the power distribution board. So you've got this switching power supply, and it feeds into this little square distribution board. So you get the mains feed in on the side, and then every board has its own power feed, and it all connects onto that. And that was the problem. So I got this one working to a point, but it's still a little delicate. I think it needs a little bit more attention to the soldering, or the cable. It's not the soldering so much. I think it's the actual wires themselves might have got a bit brittle, and so every now and again it doesn't boot up nicely. So I'll do this, and you'll probably hear a click.
Hey, Terrible Fire. How you doing?
Hey, Rob.
Wow. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, we heard that.
Now it's working. So now she's fine. She just needs one or two. So
sorry about that, Stephen. I didn't see you in the.
No worries. I just thought I'd come in and since you were doing this.
They're your cards after all.
Yeah, and also you've been here now. This place was fucking freezing all day. It was like it was really cold. It's just like never warmed up, even with the fire on full galley. So
I was at Stephen's place last weekend, and we were talking about composing on a CX5M MSX. And I actually started. I took the whole weekend to make a tracker tune over there on Pro Tracker, and I'd sort of forgotten how horrible it is to actually compose on these things. To compose from scratch, like the tracker tunes I've done, normally I'd sort of draft them in a proper DAW, and afterwards I sample everything and then convert them to tracker. So it's much easier because I already know what I'm doing, but to actually compose on a tracker it's just really, really tough. Because by the time you figure out how to do the stuff you want to do. You've forgotten about
He was
your
sat
initial
there.
idea.
He was sat there for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
With the headphones on, composing away.
Not talking to anyone, which is usually my normal state. But yeah.
To be honest, a lot of people were here, and a lot of people weren't talking to anyone. They were just in the zone. They were enjoying themselves. That was the whole point of the weekend. So
Yeah. But it's a room full of nerds. What do you think? It's very fun, though.
One of the reasons I joined was I wanted to tell Rob about. I was at a party. My wife, I got dragged along to a party.
Heard about that, yeah.
Got dragged along to a party. Friend of my wife. She introduced this couple. This guy had been in French class with her. This was this French exchange student. She hooked those two up, and they've had kids. And so this is their 25th wedding anniversary or something. So we were dragged along. Myself and my son were dragged along. I don't really know these people at all, but dragged along to them. And there's a lad called Jim who does Jim Neary. He does synth repairs apparently.
Okay.
Who knows Kent?
Oh yeah.
And I mentioned Kent, and his wife's eyes, like the biggest eye roll I've ever seen in my life. Right?
Standard, yeah.
It's like, yeah, which Kent on the streams? My mate Ollie's pal with Kent. Biggest eye roll, like if her eyes had been fixed in place, her whole body would have flipped backwards. But yeah, Jim, I said, what to Jim? I don't know if you know Jim, but he's someone who lives up in Glasgow. He does synth repair stuff.
I know the name. I've never met him or spoken to him, but yes, when people say, "Can you recommend a synth person in a particular area?" and it's him.
So he's pals of my wife's friend Steve, and
nice. It's
random.
funny. This is
very random. You go to a party, you don't expect that, Yeah.
But the other thing that you get with Kent is when you mention his name and they say who, and you say Kent Spong, and they look at you as if to say, "You just made that up, didn't you?"
Yeah.
And do you know, for years, I heard, even before I knew Kent personally, I'd heard his name mentioned in circles, particularly with Dave Spears from G-Force, who, they've been friends for many years, and I think most of the stuff that's in Dave's studio's been through Kent's doors. And whenever he talked about Kent Spong, I thought that was just like some random name that he just, like it was some Cockney rhyming slang,
or a brand. It sounds like a brand.
Yeah, I thought, who's called Kent Spong? And then one day I met him, and he's the loveliest guy, and I love him to bits. And it took me a while to pluck up the courage to say, "Listen, mate, I've got to ask, is that your real name?" And he looked at me and said, "Yeah," as if he resigned himself to the fact that it was, and that's his lot in life. But what confused me once is he used, even when he was on the show, even when he started going on our show, he would still make a donation every week. Mate, you don't have to do that. You're on the show. And the name on the account wasn't his name. It was another name. And I think
sounds legit.
Yeah. And I thought, what's going
money
on?
was just resting in the account.
Yeah. And I thought maybe he's been, pulling my chain, and Kent Spong actually isn't his name. It's some sort of nom de plume. And so I again plucked up the courage one day and I said, "Kent, mate, listen, you stop paying money into, stop donating money to a channel that you work on. And by the way, who the hell is this guy?" And he said, he said, when I couldn't set up a PayPal account, I had no idea what I was doing. And that guy, and he told me who he was. He said he was here and he just put his name in, and that was that. And so it's his other person's name. So, he's this conundrum wrapped up in an enigma. I love him to bits. Yeah.
Well, when you were, it was about a month ago, just before, probably about the beginning of September, you did it. You went on his channel live, and he wasn't there.
Oh, right.
I was watching a nice. I just picked. I think it was at the rugby or something. Was it something?
Yeah.
And I just said,
he let the stream run or something.
Yeah, no, but Rob was live, I remember
I think
Rob
I
was
was.
live,
Yeah.
and I just typed in, I like a bit of a wind up. I said to, "Where's Bricktop?"
Oh, dear.
And Ken comes back with, "Do you know who I am?" So he got the reference.
Yeah. No, he's not been
Only
well.
was only was
last few
scared
weeks.
I'd upset Bricktop.
Yeah, he said he's not been well the last few weeks.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well,
Yeah.
he won't mind me saying because he's told people before. He has these. Sometimes they're like big migraines, and sometimes it's like he just loses the ability to sort of comprehend where he is and when he is. And I said, you know what? Having an 89-year-old mother-in-law that has these little TIAs or mini strokes, I said that sounds terribly similar to what my my mother-in-law has, because she'll just like forget who people are and where she is, and all the words are coming out in all the wrong
It all
order,
comes back to him, yeah.
and then it all comes back after a period of time. And again, through experience with my mother-in-law, it's one of those things that if it happens, they can't tell you that it's happened unless they get it while it's happening. And by the time the ambulance gets there, or by the time you get that person to hospital, they've probably passed through it. There are usually little markers that they can find that will give them an idea, but it's one of those things that they can't sort of pin.
That's pretty scary, isn't
And
it?
the thing is, Kent is also agoraphobic, so he does not go outside.
He's scared of fighting, right? Yeah.
Sorry, scared of. Yeah.
I should explain, Robbie. Terrible Fire and I met over our shared love of Father Ted. We can literally quote the most obscure stuff in Father Ted.
Well, I did
And-
notice the small and far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things
This is an obvious one, but we have very, very obscure stuff.
So when Ollie was, there was about, how many folk were here? Did you even count at any point, Ollie? I think it was probably
No,
about 15, 20 folk here, max.
I was busy not talking to people.
But what I did was we had this. This is like an old billiard room, so we had this set up
Okay.
with geeks and people set up on these folding tables. They had
Okay. Yeah.
their all their old gear set up, and just the idea is like there's a local group that they used to like rent a church, or they'd rent a bowling club or something for the afternoon, and everybody would come in. But a couple of years ago, my mother-in-law and my wife bought this place, and I didn't really have much of a say in it, but I insisted that I got this room. That was the condition. So, but it meant I could keep it clear, and we could, when we do these kind of events, the guys could come in, set up here, could get pissed and not have to worry about tearing it all down and going home. They could come back the next day and pick it all up. So that's kind of what we've been doing. So we had this room set up as the main room, but we had in my what you would call my sitting room, I had a loop of Father Ted running for 10 hours, 10-hour loop of Father Ted. And people would just come in like, if they had enough in here, it was busy in here, they would go down there, sit and watch an episode or half an episode in front of the fire, and then come back up. Like, we ended up, of all episodes, we ended up watching Speed 3, didn't we? Yeah. Which is
fun.
It was just to get to. It was really the computer's just an excuse for a piss out. Really,
It was equally. It takes a lot to get me out of the house, so fair play to you. Yeah, because I could spend the rest of my life in this room. To be honest, I've no problem with that.
Yeah, that was a fair old bus journey you did as well. That's 2 hours to Dublin Airport, near enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the bus. It's not too bad. Like the bus is handy because it's got Wi-Fi, so you just watch videos on your phone or whatever you have, and it's over before you know it. Or listen to a podcast, or sleep on the way back.
You slept on the way back.
Yeah, sure. I was traveling late. Remember?
Yeah, I mean, you were 5 o'clock before you left. Your flight went, and then we're near enough 5, and then you'd have been 6 into Dublin, 9 getting into Galway, 9:30 home, something like that.
Ish, something like that. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. So that's one card done. I should really have done 5 in the time it took me to do one. But
That's
I
only
haven't.
one card. Jesus, I thought you were on to card 4 or 5. I've been watching the telly.
So I haven't populated. Have you implemented the jumpers here for different mappers?
Not yet, no.
No. Okay, so I haven't populated that on the related resistors, or nor the LED for indicating power on. I don't think that's really needed at all, especially if you're going to put that in the case afterwards.
No, the LED was just,
yeah, it's handy.
More of a.
Farnell fucked up. They sent me. They didn't send me 1 microfarad capacitors, or yeah. So
you're probably. I mean, I'm speccing this like 100 megahertz stuff, so it's probably fine 10 nanofarad.
You reckon? I don't think that's 10 nanofarad either.
One microfarad was it, or
1 microfarad? Yeah.
You're probably fine at anything 10, plus or minus 10% of that.
Whoop-de-doo.
In order of magnitude up or down, you're probably fine. This is so slow compared to the stuff I normally work on.
I know. I'll see what I have if I have anything else. But it's more I need to get back to them.
Any caps, to be honest. But anyway, I wouldn't ship it to any. I think it would work with any caps. I wouldn't ship it to someone with caps.
That's what I mean. It's meant to be.
Right, I'm going to leave you guys.
Sure. Thank you, Robbie, for helping test.
Great to talk to you, Bob.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
See you all soon.
Talk to you later.
Rob.
Bye.
Is that you done? You're gonna try it though. You're gonna check that it boots.
I have the cable here.
And are you gonna check that it works on a real MSX? Because I have been too lazy to do that.
I don't have. Well, I don't have any handy ones plugged in. I'll try tomorrow. I need to try that this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's bugging me because I've never actually tried it on a real MSX, and it would be so easy to do. But
yeah, sorry, Eugene. Sorry for asking something completely off topic being discussed. It's again about SMD soldering. Oh, you saw people using some sort of vacuum pickup station for installing and holding. Yeah, I've seen those. Does this technique make sense? I don't. Those vacuum pumps to actually pick in place.
So yeah, people have pick and place machines. Like my best man's got like an assembly line, and he's got these pick and place machines that it picks up the components and puts them in place, and then it goes through he's got a process that puts down the solder mask. Then he's got the pick and place that puts it down on top of the top of the solder paste, and then it all goes through the oven and it gets flowed, and it's precise temperatures as it goes through. If I was ever doing anything like a mad run of something that was really custom that I really wanted to be precisely done, I would get Duncan to do it. But so what he does is he manufactures light fittings. He does architectural lighting and stuff like that. These kind of weird light fittings that are meant for outdoors, and so he's got all these control systems and he's got all these light fittings and he manufactures them and he does them to high spec. But
for hobbyists, I can't.
Hobbyists, no. Yeah. I mean, he's doing low volumes and they're low volumes, more or less moderately high margins because he probably has a high, like he'll guarantee it to a particular standard, whereas you can get that from what you get from China, for example.
Yeah, get yourself a pair of these.
Yeah, I don't have a set of them.
Really?
No, I've got tweezers, but I don't have curved tweezers.
Oh, they're so handy because then you can see what you're doing.
Right. Did your microscope arrive yet?
3rd of November.
It's going to change your life.
You bastards.
Wasn't me that convinced you. It was Chucky, though, wasn't it?
Same thing.
We're just both bastards.
I'm trying to see where the ground is. Is it this guy?
It's the second from the end, yeah, on the JTAG. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to double check. Not that I don't trust you, but
I wouldn't trust me.
yeah, okay. Good. This guy. I never put oh yeah, I need to share my screen for that, don't I? Actually, I've made a batch file, so
Oh, this is the program the
yeah. I'm setting up the goal of this was to also set up the actual streams station.
So if you're doing these at 1.5 hours per board, you're
it's not going to happen, is it? It's more an excuse to stream and talk to people.
You did with Chucky's guidance. You did a whole TF 1230 in about an hour and a half. So,
and it's working fine in this machine, which is going to be my spare Amiga or your Amiga when you come over.
It's Ireland's spare Amiga. I understand.
Biggest spare Amiga, but I have the Amiga with the 1216 right here, and I've been using it a lot actually. Again,
I think I might bring my Blinking Lights card with me and install it and take
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how are you gonna like this will have? Oh no, the firmware doesn't work on this one. You said.
No, I'll fix that. Don't worry. I have the technology.
Yeah, window capture. Is that the window or display capture? Okay, I'm gonna try that. So
that pitch of CPLD you can pretty much do with just a reasonable magnification, right?
Yeah. I just have this slide here. Oh, this is helpful. But working. Something like that. For now. And if everything is... Oh no, I need to... I hate the new command.
Is this Windows 11?
Oh yeah, it's just horrible for DOS stuff. And it confuses the crap out of me every time.
I've got one machine that's Windows 11 and too many other machines that aren't.
See, it's not going to work like that because it will want me to have... Yeah, it's going to give out to me. Bollocks.
It was good to finally speak to Rob because we've always been on, like, he's been watching streams we've been on, or I've been watching streams he's been on, and
yeah, Robbie's lovely. He's a very nice guy, and I mean that group at ProSynth Network is incredibly knowledgeable on synthesizers. Like I thought when you know like what a Moog is and what a M1, you know a handful of synthesizers, and you think you know most of them.
No, I actually know enough about synthesizers just to know that I know nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. See, actually, I should put the link. My keyboard is over there. I should get a spare keyboard because this is getting cluttered here. So let me solve this CMD. How do I go? Echo is not recognized. No, but this is not. Okay, maybe if I just go to CD desktop. Oh, this is going to be so tedious. CD. talk amongst yourselves.
I
MSX.
Anything I say, I feel like anything I say is going to cause you to.
There you go. Okay. Okay. What happened?
Oh,
No JTAG chain found.
you need to kind of apply a bit more pressure.
Yeah. That was my fault. No. This is actually when the light would be handy. I just installed it on. I probably need a reboot, to be honest.
Is that the machine you're streaming from as well?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
As you reboot, I'm stuck here talking to your subscribers.
Let me try this on a known working card. Just to be sure, and I think I need a reboot.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. Okay. So I messed up.
Oh, that failed. That failed, but it got about halfway.
No, but it picked up the JTAG, and I know exactly what I did wrong. CPLD is not aligned to pin 1. I need to take it out. MSX. That's the problem doing these on a live stream. I wasn't paying attention.
No, I have exactly the same problem when I do live streams. People, if I'm trying to actually focus and do a job, it's difficult to be a host and actually accomplish something.
So I'm gonna get the hot hair station, and I don't want to do that now. But for people who wonder about those that Amiga and those things, this is what happens. You make mistakes, a lot of mistakes, a lot of the time. Eugene, you're going to drive home now. Oh, you were at work. You'll keep listening to us. I wouldn't. Okay, let me get rid of this screen. Yeah, I removed on the other one. I removed the JTAG before. It's just I'll reprogram it afterwards. But it was, yeah, it picked it up. That's all I wanted to see. And products.
You've not had a lot of luck with those, have you?
Mm-hmm.
With that JTAG programming stuff, you've not had good amount of luck with it.
It's working fine now. I have it working. It's just my mistake.
Exactly the same setup here.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, I learned from my mistake. Like I tried to do that Raspberry Pi version of it, and I just haven't been able to get it to work because you can't use these. You can't have an HDMI plugged into the Raspberry Pi when you're doing it, so you have to SSH into it. It just I haven't been able to do it. Anyway,
I have it all set up so that I have a script and I run it and I just it's like Flash. It's a script I run and it updates like when I'm working on the TF 4060. It's just a script I run and there's an actual Pi hat header on the 4060 because I just didn't want to deal with having two different JTAG chains on it. So it's just, yeah, it doesn't always work, but most of the time.
Yeah.
Although Eric was saying he had a lot of trouble that Eric who was here, he had a lot of trouble with that particular setup.
With the Pi?
With the Pi, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get mine to work at all. And as soon as I got the cable, that was it. First time. And then on the TFMS, like the first the Rev 2 of the TF-MSX, it was that clock issue
Yeah.
that was
That-
actually
that-
causing me trouble all the time. So it had been programmed properly. It was just the
I would call that shenanigans, to be honest. That particular.
Yeah. bad luck for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know. Should I even try to get the desolder station at this stage?
Yeah, go for it. You want to see it working after nearly 2 hours of working. Come on.
I have some quick chip. I'm going to use that,
Your audience wants to see it working. Come on.
or just hot hair.
What's the issue? What's the... You got a soul bridge somewhere or something?
Oh, it's pin 1 is not where pin 1 should be.
Oh, you've soldered the... What?
Yeah, pin 1 is here when it should be here.
Oh, you've got that chip run backwards.
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweat it off. Come on, sweat it off.
See, I was talking to Robbie when I was trying to do it. So.
I'm going to get Chucky to join this. Come on.
No. It's going to be very noisy as well.
I'm going to shout, let's see if that Norwegian soldier dude is about. Yeah, how I usually do these is flux them up. Flux them up to death, and then just sweat them off. Dave Poo 2.
Hey, Dave. How are you doing? Dave is a fellow YouTuber who regularly leaves a comment on the videos. How are you doing? I think did I subscribe to the channel recently? I think I did. I've been going through or I joined your stream recently. That's what it was. Yeah, I probably subscribed as well. What temperature do you set this at? I have it at 400.
Okay. So what I do is I set it to max, and I control the temperature by distance. So I start.
Yeah, I don't trust myself to do that, but yeah.
Oh, okay. You need to watch Lewis Rossman's old videos, right? I mean, not his new stuff. His stuff is just ranting about Apple and HP and all shit like that. But fun fact, I'm still a mod on his channel, so I can delete comments on his videos, which is quite fun on a video on a YouTuber with a couple of million subscribers. But you start. The temperature is controlled by your distance. So you start here, and you don't see the solder. You don't see the flux melting. You just bring it in until you see it starting to melt, and then if it's not melting, you bring it in further. That's it. Just a bit of patience and some distance. You can control temperature on the board from distance.
I don't have tape either, so
yeah.
I'm tempted. I have quick chip. I'm tempted to use that and just clean.
I go for it then. If you've got whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with.
No, I'm afraid of melting the socket and moving these guys.
Well, what you can do is if you come in from the back of the socket, if you put the take a different angle. So that's a mad angle. Valid reference.
Yeah, I'm limited with the light here.
Well, what I meant is if you turn the board round so that the air is flowing away from the socket.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
that was
you got less hot air flowing over the socket and less chance of melting it. Yeah. So you just think about where the hot air is going. That's all. He says like he knows what he's doing. I don't have a clue. I get the job done for my own boards, but that's about it. I'm not gonna.
At least it's not a if I fuck up a cart, I have loads of those. It's not that big a deal.
And it was invented by a gobshite, and you can basically blame me anyway.
Well, I will anyway.
So Dave he put it on backwards.
Not fully backwards, but close enough.
So now you can see that the chip that socket won't melt because that air is flowing around. So I would probably so the board's going to be heating up. There'll be a point where where you want there'll be a point about I would say you getting close to it now. What temperature is that thing that air set to?
It's 480.
Yeah, so keep the air on it. Keep the air on it. There's a point at which I would be like see those your tweezers, yeah, and now go in for the kill. It should start to lift. You'll feel it like peel. Don't rip it off.
Yeah.
You'll feel it peel. Just take your time, gently lift it. You'll feel it pin by pin going. That's what you want to do. Yeah, slow. Yeah, that's exactly it. Is it lifting?
Nope.
You need to go closer then. Come on, that's only a 4-layer board. Jesus. But your angle is still not going to burn that socket, so you're doing that the right way. You've got the right angle here. The fuck? That should be lifting by now. Put a bit more tension on it.
This is a cheap Chinese one. I wouldn't necessarily trust the temperature or airflow on this.
Like, put it to whatever the maximum setting is and go for it. Jeez. Even I've got a 10-year. I mean, I think my hot air station is 12 years old at this point. It would still pull that off, and it's the cheapest one. It was like 10 quid off, or 17 quid or something 12 years ago. Nothing.
See, this is why I'm not confident with this fucking thing.
Right, I think that's really a hairdryer you've got there.
It feels fairly hot now. But,
You're not seeing anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the quick chip. I doused it in flux as well.
No, that should have come off by now.
I would think so too, but
like focus on the pins really close to the where you're lifting. Yeah.
I've used yours in your at your place. It was.
My one is shite. It's really old crap. I mean, Lewis Rossman did a video on how crap mine is. He literally did a video on how shit it is. Okay, I think we can conclude that the camera decided to facepalm or head desk.
I'm not even seeing a change in the. It is on. It's really blowing, but.
So you felt like the
nothing's moving.
That's not working. That's unbelievable.
And I just burned myself.
It's not. It's not a good soldering session unless you're smelling chicken. I think Chucky said something similar to you.
Oh, is Chucky here?
No, I don't think he is. I think it's an hour ahead in Sweden, so he's.
So, okay, this is far away from me as possible. Where is it? There we go.
I've just asked the Scottish Amiga group to come and heckle you. So.
Oh no, my webcam's gone. Hold on.
We've got a good crotch shot there.
Not my favorite view. Let me. There you go. And I might need to redo the configure video, camera control. Fixed. There you go.
No, that doesn't look good at all. That doesn't look like. I mean, I would take that solder station and give it to Fiona for doing creme brulee or something like that.
How many more to? How are you doing? How are you doing, dude? This is gonna get embarrassing really quick.
Hey, Andrew, how's it going? This could turn into an impromptu fishwife session.
Is Andrew joining? There you go. Okay, gone. Quick chip.
Andrew's just gonna heckle, but I don't know. He might join the StreamYard.
He's instructed you to heckle. Oh, so you're gonna come here and sabotage my streams into a fishwife stream?
Well, why not?
So, by the way, for anybody who wants to join in, there's a link on top of the chat, and that brings you to a StreamYard room where you can actually just join in where Stephen is, and just add more participants as we go. Okay, so we need to clean these guys out.
You got more of those chips, though, right?
I do, yeah. I've.
I wouldn't use that one for this board, the first board.
Would you not? Gone.
No. I would keep it and I would reuse it, but I wouldn't use it for the first board. Yeah.
First board.
We'll use it for the last board. When I'm thinking, can I sell that last one? What parts have I got scrapped? Not that I've done that.
No, you gave me two, and I just got a batch of 10 there.
Yeah, that was chip quick, Dave Pooh. That was chip quick.
Yeah.
Because this hot air basically is a hairdryer.
Which, let's just clean the whole fucking thing.
I mean, my hot air station isn't that good. It's the cheapest, crappiest thing in the universe. But
I can vouch for that. But I've seen it and I've used it and it worked fine. So yeah.
If yours is not as good as that, then throw it away. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I'm.
So that's the second one you give me. No, but I've another batch of 10 anyway.
Oh yeah, I sent you a couple, didn't I? Or
Yeah,
I brought the couple over or whatever.
you gave me a couple when I came over.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
I can't
so
remember. But
this way. You have an 80-pound hair station if you've burned that. I think that's what I have. It's a cheap Chinese one, and I've used it before. It's worked, but it does take a long time, and it's not very efficient. And I don't quite trust. It's handy to remove stuff on boards that you know are just gone, beyond gone, and you want to salvage stuff off it. So you've no problem lifting traces, but I wouldn't trust myself on.
oh my god, the hot air station that I've got is now 90 quid. I think I bought it for 17 quid. 10
Oh,
years. Wow.
I probably have this. Actually, I can't remember what year this looked like.
Mine's an Athens 800 odd series one. It's really, really bad. But I don't do that much. I mean, all I do is passes with them. I only put like very rarely sweat a chip off that I've screwed up on or some RAM. Otherwise, I can't justify it. It's like Chucky's doing production. I don't do production. I'm doing prototypes. So it's
Sure.
I'd rather spend the money on a logic analyzer or something like that. Something that'll actually help me get.
So did you finally fix your analyzer, by the way?
Yeah, it's back in service. Thank God. Jesus. And the timing of that is just unbelievable. It's been running, like pretty much running continuously since 2016. And it decides to die the week before, like the day that Chucky and Eric and yourself come over. Unbelievable. Yeah. What happened was there's these gas discharge diodes or gas discharge tubes, and they're basically surge protectors. They're there to protect the appliance from over voltage,
Yeah.
and they're filled with a gas that basically gets worn out by the number of times it's been triggered. And I took it. It was a forum post that I found that someone else with a very similar model had the same problem. So because I don't know if you were here. I kept trying to figure out what was going on. I kept blowing the fuses, and I kept pulling out. I thought it might be the CRT because that's about the only thing that could pull any current on that logic analyzer. Pulled everything out. It was still blowing it. Then I found the forum post, pulled those two components out, and it's working fine. Just really annoying. It was more the timing rather than anything else.
So are they like spark gaps type of?
Yeah, they're like if your voltage goes over 250, the gas will break down, become conductive, short and blow the fuse, rather than your appliance get hit by 260, 270, 280 volts or whatever.
Okay. But as it gets more uses, it wears out and it will short out. And
yeah, the gas breaks down. Or as I understand, I mean, I'm not trying to pretend to be an expert on this. I'm just the more times it, in quotes, flashes, the lower the voltage starts to lower. So it would come on, and then it would blow the fuse after 5 minutes of use. Like, and I don't mean like just pop the fuse. I mean, let me see if I can find the last one it blew is in the bin here somewhere. It looks like a smoking crater.
Jeez, you're breaking the place.
See if you can see that. That's the last fuse that blew. It's not like it was
Wow.
a small. No, it's a little pop. It was boom.
Yeah, we're programming. Oh, I forgot to.
That's fine. Just want to see Vampire Killer.
Let's do it again.
Sweet.
Oh. There you go.
So now you just program a ROM and off you go.
So I have a ROM programmed already.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
So this should be a Vampire Killer. And I have a handy TF-MSX ready here.
He's so Andrew. He's building my. He's building my. Oh, there you go. See that you had to finish like on a high there. It's a reproduction card for things like Vampire Killer.
So these cards need. This is 128K ROM, and they need a mapper. A memory mapper. So what Stephen has done, he's so this is where your ROM goes here, but he's implemented the mapper in CPLD format. Maybe you want to talk about it, Stephen. I'll do a video on it on this channel.
I know nothing.
I'll do my best. I'll do a video this weekend on it.
To be honest, it was just I was watching you go nuts doing this, and it was partly to annoy you, but mostly just.
Thank you.
You know my personality. It's partly to annoy you, but mostly because I was watching you suffer, and it was like, you were building these repro cards that I was like looking at the circuits and I didn't think it was going to work, and it looked really.
No, you told me, and to be honest, I should revise that circuit, but everybody who's tried that circuit, the guy who made it said it worked, and it was working for him. Everybody's tried it. I found out couldn't get it to work, and I thought, well, they're fucking idiots. So I tried myself, and it'll work, and it didn't work, and I didn't double check anything. I didn't verify, and then you looked at it, and you were like, "No, that's not going to work."
Yeah, I kind of got the weird brain for that nowadays after years of doing terrible fire stuff. So, but what I was able to do was I was able to prove this was going to work before I did it, because the TF-MSX has got spare ROM capacity and spare capacity in the CPLD. So I was able to generate the mapper inside the actual TF-MSX and logically map a ROM to the spare ROM capacity. I was able to basically prove it would work before I did the card, and then when the card arrived, I'd already done the code for it, so it was trivial. It really was, because I'd already proved it. So it didn't work the first time in the TF-MSX, but it worked the first time in the car, which never happens, by the way.
Trivial, my ass.
Well, it's trivial. It was trivial.
It did work. You were actually surprised that it worked the first time too. Like,
yeah, I was actually surprised. I thought, well, I'll video it booting the first time. It won't work, but I'll video it booting the first time, and then I think I actually said something on the video. I said to you, like, that's actually the first time it's booting. So hell, you're gonna.
That wasn't annoying at all.
You can just call me Tony.
But It is a big deal though for a lot of MSX users because there is options to have a mapper card, but very often these are like stuff like Carnivore or Multimapper or SC, and what they do is they actually you need to flash the ROM from the MSX into the card, so it's a flash ROM. So what you have is a really expensive card. They're really expensive, but you can only use them as a dedicated card after you flash it.
So one of the things I've found, or at least I think, is one of the biggest experiences with retro is that experience of selecting the card, like selecting the hot chocolate, Horlicks, whatever from the Tea Master, inserting it into the MSX.
Yeah.
The whole experience of getting the card, putting it in, that's part of the retro experience. And if you have a really expensive one size fits all card that does absolutely everything, then that's a fantastic.
That's what I mean. So what you have is a much cheaper option to have a dedicated game. You can actually use that as a dedicated card for a specific game, as opposed to having a Carnivore card that costs like over £100 that you can only flash a dedicated game into. Like
that should be 20 to 30 quid, and with
or a multi-card of sorts ROM, which whatever. Yeah.
But you could have, but from that, with that solution, and the idea with that solution is you could have 20 of them for the same price as a Carnivore, and still have that whole selecting the card experience, Anyway.
So I've cleaned that CPLD here. I'm going to chance it on another card.
Yeah, I would. I think it'll be fine. It's just check it with magnification. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, and we put another one in there.
They're pretty hard. They're hard bastards with chips. They can really take a kicking.
But yeah, so
you're asking 100 megahertz off them. You're asking 3, maybe 7.
Yeah, I know. It's more the heat.
Nah, to be honest, if that wasn't melting solder, you were basically tickling it.
Where's my tweezer then?
You weren't melting the solder on the pads. You weren't melting the inner, the gold on the inside of it.
They've put 20, 30 cheaper than an 8. Yeah. Well, I think the price we were thinking of, you and I, was like 18, 19 euros. So it should be less in pounds. And you weren't too pushed about it, but I want to share whatever profit comes out of it with you halfway. So it's it's not a huge margin, because I think they cost, in parts, they cost about 12 euros to make.
Dude, if it takes you 2 hours, 8 minutes to make a card.
No, it won't. It won't. It won't. It'll take me far less to do 5 cards next time. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that was the idea. 18 to 19 euros. That should be less in pounds.
So have you checked that the drill holes are the correct position as well?
The drill holes.
Yeah, I did them. I haven't totally confirmed them.
Oh, for this, yeah, I actually put them in a case that I printed, and yeah, no, it fits. It fits fine. In fact, I know for a fact that this is. I sent you the same. It's the same template as this, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's slightly off. It's slightly off here.
I did it by math rather than.
It's slightly off here, but I've been told that this corner is slightly off on mine, but I've made them a little bit bigger. So yeah, no, it's.
Would it be
possible
it's fine. Just write multiple games selected bank from jumpers? Yes.
Yes.
The jumpers are there. I don't really have anything implemented on the jumpers, but I also thought, how would you access the jumpers outside the cart? You know, there's a bit of
Well, you can make dedicated cards and just set the jumpers before you put them in the.
Yeah, so if you're going to use the jumpers, you need to put resistors on the jumpers there, little resistors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I need to document, and I'm going to tell people. But yeah, there's 2 resistors here, and then you put pins whichever way. It doesn't matter. But then you put jumpers.
You know what I might do with this, Oli, is take the constraints file and just say, look, if you want to write your own firmware for this, I'm not going to give you my firmware, but if you want to write your own firmware for it, you can.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know, if you want
well,
to,
you have the Konami mapper done.
Yeah, Konami mapper. Yeah,
without SCC.
Without SCC. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if Eric and I were to be able to do the SCC in the ARM, which I would like to see it done on the TFMSX first, if we were able to do the SCC on the ARM, we would be able to put a cheap RISC-V CPU on here, I think, and I think Eric was getting them for. I mean, I don't even think he could believe how cheap he was getting them. It was something like 10 for $5 or something like that. It was, how they're making a profit on that? There must be like infiltration AI on them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a webcam and it's watching you, gathering data on you. But yeah, no, there's a series of jumpers. That was your idea initially, so you can have up to 4 mappers.
Up to 4 mappers. Pick the mapper you want, and then.
To be honest, the Konami mapper with a CC and with a CC would be the more popular ones, and then after that, ASCII 8 and 16.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So a little bit of work to do on that.
Anything other than that, I mean, you're talking really obscure MSX games. R-Type would be one, but R-Type uses a custom sound chip. It's not going to work with your mapper anyway. You know,
R-Type's extortionately expensive, isn't it? It's another one that's you've got it, you bastard. Of course you got it.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
That's guilty.
Yeah, it's gone. I mean, a loose cart now would be at least €80. At least.
I've not seen them for less than 200.
Yeah, boxed. Yeah.
No, I mean even just loose.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm way out of way out of touch then.
Boxed, it's like we're talking €500 nowadays.
Holy crap!
I don't think anybody's buying them at that price, but you know what I mean. It's like
that's the thing. There's a lot of asking price that aren't shifting. It's like with arcades. I mean,
all right. Well done, dude.
I was going to say if anybody wants to join, but I think we've been streaming for 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
It's cool format actually. I like this having just a smaller window on the side for people who want. Why is it so expensive for R-Type? I mean, yeah, rarity. It's not very good on the MSX. It's okay. It's not the best conversion ever by far. It's probably one of the worst, to be honest. But it's MSX1 as well, which is quite a technical feat. But it's just rare, and it's. I mean, you know, retro world as much as we do, Dave. It's prices have gone crazy, and people go crazy for stuff. Like stuff like Vampire Killer now, like a loose cart is going to be 100 quid easy.
Yeah, actually close to 150, I think. No.
MSX stuff is really expensive anyway. Like you won't find a cart for under 50 quid. Any Konami game is going to demand a premium. Like that's why this is really important.
Yeah. So box star type. Oh no, I'm seeing cards. The lowest I'm seeing it is about 130
for a loose cart.
150 for actually some perversely some loose carts are more expensive than the boxed options.
Oh.
Yeah. R-Type MSX, MSX2. Oh, that one's 120 plus 20 quid postage. Yeah. I'm seeing a good boxed version, 400 quid.
What?
Yeah.
Japanese box or European box?
Japanese.
Yeah. They've gone really. The Japanese boxes, for some reason, have gone really expensive.
Japanese stuff is anything Japanese is very collectible.
I have a few Japanese box of Konami stuff. Like, for people who don't know, this is
Usas?
so these were the European boxes that we had for the MSX. So this is a game called Ushas, and cool Konami game. But the Japanese box were hard. So this is cardboard. This is plastic. It's very much like the
Mega Drive.
Mega Drive boxes, and it came with like loads of stuff. This one doesn't have everything. Doesn't have the manual. But there was loads of cards with it and pictures, and the cart is the same. They're not region locked. But for some reason, people love the Japanese boxes.
Because Japanese.
I prefer this. Yeah, of course. Anything Japan.
It's Japanese culture is more unique than Western culture. So.
European boxes were cardboard boxes with a plastic insert that actually helped preserve the cardboard and solidify the whole thing. So that was good. But inside, that's what you had inside, just a plastic kind of shell with the thing and a small manual in black and white. Usually the Japanese manuals were, colors with a lot of drawings and a lot of cool extras, but obviously in Japanese. But the games were not region locked. And interestingly, if you run the card from this onto a European machine, it will display in English. Like the title for Vampire Killer would be Vampire Killer. But if you played it in a subscriber, that works. Interesting. That actually works. Subscriber alerts. But if you play the same card in a Japanese machine, it would actually display the title Vampire Killer that was here a second ago in Japanese letters, Akumajo, whatever, Dracula. So the cards would recognize what machine you put them in. So they're not region locked, so it's the same card. It's just the packaging is different.
Nice.
Being a collector, I have multiple versions of the same game. And the MSX was super interesting. Yeah, Kings Valley has about 7 or 8 different versions.
Really?
Yeah, OEM versions, OEM boxes. It's a great game. Shut up. And
no, it is a great game. I didn't say it wasn't a great game. I said it was a diabolic evil game. So
but yeah, there was a Casio one. So Casio was actually doing OEM cards with some of their MSX offerings. So there's entire different packaging for. It's the same card. You open it inside, it says Konami, but it's branded. The outside is branded Casio. There was some Arabic versions of it. There was some, there's loads of different versions of the packaging. The card is always the same though, and it's the same ROM. Yeah.
I had to play Vampire Killer or Dracula on the X68000 at Neil's. Yeah, it's the soundtrack that makes it.
Yeah, yeah.
The soundtrack.
You love that platform.
I love anything 68,000. To be fair, it makes me a leper in the retro community because people are like, "You like the Atari ST and the Amiga? How could you possibly do that?"
I still haven't forgiven you for that, but yeah. All right, I think I'm going to put an end to this. This was technically a success, even though I made a very big mistake because I was distracted.
That's when you've got a working card.
I have about 30 of these. I don't have 30 CPLDs, but I ordered 30 PCBs. So
60 hours later,
and I have some stuff. So my plan is to do I'll do a video over the weekend. Although I don't have any microfarad ones, but you said I can replace them with 100 nanofarad.
100 nanofarad would be fine.
Yeah, I might try that. Just for the sake of having one done on a video.
The ones around the reg, or is it ones around the other side?
I'll tell you exactly. It's C2 here.
Yeah.
C5 and C4.
Those are 100 nanofarad are fine.
Well, they're the bill of material that has them as one, but this and this.
No, actually, they probably should be 100. Actually, thinking about it.
I know you're saying that. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I have 100 anyway, so I can actually record a video.
100s would be fine. There.
So especially
at that frequency. That's fine.
Okay, we'll try that. I'll do a video over the weekend on the channel.
If it was the ones around the regulator, I'd be a bit more cautious.
So no, but see, the ones around the regulator are 1206 pitch anyway, so I can't just replace them with a So I'll do a video over the weekend on these guys, and then I should have them on the shop by the end of the weekend. I think that's the idea for people. Cool.
Excellent. And nothing to do with me at all. Nothing.
Everything to do with you, Stephen. So I'll blame you 100 times in there. But for support for this is where people. I'm where people will have to turn to.
I will. If you end up with support issues, I will help. But it's,
of course, yeah, no.
There's a reason there's no TF logo on it. That's just all I can say.
No, but it's the same with what Chucky does. I mean, if people need support for their card, and if Chucky is the one who made them, people, Chucky is the one people turn to for help. Or Leo is here. Just microwave for 10 to 12 seconds to warm the board and soften things up. Saves a lot of time. Leo, there's a reason. There's a reason I refer people to you for music. How are you doing, mate? We're just about to end things here.
Some people are about to end the stream. Leo has about 5 seconds.
Anyway, folks, thank you very much. This was actually a cool experiment to see if I could stream from this setup here, and I can. So when I have the microscope, we'll have an extra camera with the microscope camera on it. So
it's ripping off the idea. Young fellow ripped off the idea.
You shut up! I can have you killed. All right, have a good night, folks. Thank you very much. Bye bye.